Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So last time we looked at the 14th item, Bahu Grantha Kala Abhyasa Vyakyavada Vivarjanam. That is, you should not study books unnecessary which are not related to bhakti, or you should not study many books, small amount here and there, just to show yourself up. But also you should not do study the shastras for arguing with others. Now we'll continue from the next item, which is Vyavahare api akarpanyam. Just here, 15th. Yes. Vyavahare api akarpanyam is basically not being a kripana. Or kripana, we have seen the definition that one who gets easily hurt or disturbed in the heart. That person is kripana. So one should not get easily disturbed in the heart in ordinary worldly dealings. That is what is given. Yatha Padme from the Padma Purana. Alabdhe va vinashte va bhaktasya achadana sadhane aviklava madhi bhutva harimeva dhyas mared. Alabdhe va vinashte va. So if one attains or one loses things, what are all those things? Bhakshya, food, achadana, clothing, sadhane, in the means that you are endeavoring for attaining food and clothing, and in that process, if you do not obtain whatever you are looking for, or if you have lost whatever you have already obtained, aviklava madhi, one should have a undisturbed mind. Taking an undisturbed mind, one should always remember the Lord Hari. Harimeva dhyas mared. Using your mind, you should continue to remember the Supreme Lord. Vishwanath, Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti both give the same commentary. Labdahiti. Smaranadi paranam eva yam ritihi. This activity is actually for those who are dedicated to smarana, those who are continuously in remembrance. So those who are attached to the process of remembrance, those who are performing the process of remembrance. Okay. There are many activities of devotional service, summarized in 9 forms, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. That is hearing, chanting, remembering, doing worship, etc., etc. So here, this particular thing is for those who are dedicated to remembrance. Why? Here he says, Sevadi paraihitu yatha labhameva seva karya. But those who are engaged in seva, that is, if you are worshipping the Supreme Lord, then you need to obtain things. You cannot simply be indifferent if you don't obtain things. You need to think about different ways to obtain the things. Why? Those things will be used in the service of the Lord. So if you are engaged in seva, you need to be worried about that. You should not be thinking that, okay, I endeavored, I did not get, I'll just keep quiet. That is for those who are dedicated to remembering the Supreme Lord. Those who are dedicated to seva, they should continue to endeavor. Na tu yachnati atishena karpanyam karyam iti gneyam. Also, one should not be so much disturbed in, like, by taking the activities of begging and so on. One should not get disturbed by that in the mind. Shokadi avashava avasha vartita. Shokadi avasha vartita. So the next one is Shokati avasha vartita. That is, you are existing without being subjected to shoka. Shoka means lamentation, etc. Okay. Yatha tatra eva, in the same Padma Purana only it is given. Shoka amarsha adibihi bhavaihi akrantam yasya manasam. So ones whose mind is disturbed by shoka, that is lamentation, dejection, sorrow, depression, pain, all these things. Amarsha is anger. One whose mind is disturbed by these emotions, these negative emotions. Katam tatra mukundasya spurti sambhavana bhavet. How can the Supreme Lord Mukunda appear in that heart? The heart has to be pure. It should not be so much disturbed by the negative emotions. When it gets disturbed by the negative emotions like depression, sadness, pain, and anger, too much anger, how can Krishna appear there? It cannot appear there. It has to be a pure heart. That is what Rupa Goswami is saying, quoting from Padma Purana. Anya deva anagnya yatha tatra eva. So, not disrespecting other devatas. Same, from the same Padma Purana is given. Hari eva sada aradhyaha sarva deva ishvara ishvaraha itare brahma rudradayaha na avagneyaha kadachana. Hari eva sada aradhyaha. So, the Hari should be always worshipped. He can be divided into two ways, Sada Aradhyaha or Sad Aradhyaha. That means Hari should be worshipped all the time or Hari should be worshipped by the devotees. Both meanings are suitable. Sarva Deva Ishwara Ishwaraha. He is actually the Ishwara of all Devas. So there are all the Devas are there. So many Devas are there. And who are the Ishwaras of those Devas? Brahma, Rudra, Indra, all these are Ishwaras, are controllers of the Devatas. And one who controls them, those Ishwaras, is Lord Hari. That Hari should be worshipped all the time. However, Itare Brahma Rudradayaha na avagneyaha. So one should not disrespect other Devatas such as Brahma, Rudra, etc. Kadachana, anytime, you should not disrespect them. On the name of worshipping Lord Hari, we should not go and abuse or disrespect. Those things should be avoided. That is also Bhakti Anga. Okay, the next one, Bhuta Anudvega Dayita. So one who does not, basically you should you should not, basically, let me not literally translate that. You should not agitate the living entities. Okay. So this is a quotation from Mahabharata. Pita iva putram karunaha na udvejeti yaha janam vishuddhasya krishikeshaha turnam tasya prasidati. Pita iva putram karunaha. So one should be so much merciful like a father is to a son. To whom? To all the living entities. Jana means people. It also means the living entities, other living entities. To all the living entities, one should behave as if he is father to those living entities, in the sense that just as how a father would behave to a child, very affectionately, very mercifully, very forgivingly, like that the person should behave with all the people and all the living entities. Na udvejayati, one should not go and disturb them, one should not create fear in them, one should not agitate their minds, should not do that. Vishuddhasya Krishikeshaha Turnam Tasya Prasidati. If that person, if a person behaves like that, that person is very pure. And what happens because of that person? Hrishikeshaha Prasidati. The Lord Hrishikesha becomes very glad, very happy with that person, very pleased with that person. Turnam, very quickly he becomes pleased. Not that, he takes time to become pleased. Just by not disturbing, not giving fear, not agitating the minds of other living entities, if one practices as if one practices mercy, one becomes merciful to other living entities, just as a father to a son, the Lord is pleased by that activity. So we should not disturb other living entities. So the principle no meat eating is included in that, in this particular thing. Okay, so then the next thing is starting. We'll actually stop because it is there is a very big commentary on this. The seva the seva aparatas and nama aparatas. We'll look at in the next session. Any questions, comments? Okay, then we'll stop here. Thank you, devotees, for joining. We'll continue next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripasandev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnav ki jai. Hare Krishna.